How's it going, everybody? Mr. Holton here, aka the 50/50 guy. So now it's basically been almost 3 weeks since we got the first actual reveal for Dragon Age, the Veilguard. I swear I'll never get over that name. But yeah, it's basically been 3 weeks now, and we have all seen all sorts of reactions across the internet. I think a lot of people were kind of taken by surprise by the reveal trailer itself. And today I just wanted to sort of look back at what we've seen so far and how people are feeling, what we think of the things we've seen after the reveal trailer, because of course you would know that BioWare released the first gameplay trailer as well, or the gameplay footage that we saw not too long after the official reveal, and I thought that the reveal trailer or the gameplay trailer would actually make more people, I guess, less worried in a way. Unfortunately, that does not seem to have been the case. So if we just pop off over to the official reveal trailer, we can see that the dislike to like ratio is abysmal. And now when I first did my video on this, it was basically half likes, half dislikes. So it seemed like there were still people who were mostly excited for the game. That turned out to be not entirely true, or well, maybe it still is. It's hard to say because this is the internet, but I would wager that a lot of these dislikes and complaints about the reveal trailer, they were pretty reasonable. I don't think that anybody was unreasonable when they said that the tone just felt so completely off after the reveal trailer dropped. And then of course we had the official gameplay trailer, and I thought again that this would turn people around, but it evidently didn't really turn that many people around. So right now it's at 84,000 likes and 157,000 dislikes. Now, I'm not sure entirely what the majority of dislikes here are. It could be that just people felt still the same about this, the vibe doesn't really feel right. It doesn't really feel like dark fantasy. Those are a lot of comments that I've seen. Could also be that BioWare has now fully embraced the action combat and there's barely any strategic elements in the game. At least from what we've seen so far, there is the pause function that allows you to use your ability wheels, but it's really not the same or the type of depth that people have come to expect from previous Dragon Age games, especially Origins and Inquisition fans. Now, personally, I was relatively happy with the gameplay reveal. There were a couple of things that I felt that they could have shown, like, for example, the various classes in the game and not just the rogue. I was also very curious as to other functions in the game, such as things like increased gore, maybe increased blood splatter, more impactful gameplay, combat finishers. Those were a lot of my complaints. Now, maybe you didn't agree with me regarding those things, but when it comes to action games, I feel like some of those are very much a necessity in order to make it feel like you're actually playing an impactful combat game. And now again, when you look through the comments on the gameplay reveal trailer, I can't really find any comments that are complaining about one particular thing. I guess the only thing is from Lonely Sandwich. That could sort of make sense. How many times did we have to say that the dialogue wheel not matching what your character says is stupid before it sinks in? I kind of agree with that, but that's sort of par for the course when it comes to RPGs. I do wish that they could just, keep it within the frames of when you're reading a dialogue choice, that is the dialogue choice you get. But yeah, there's not too many complaints about a specific thing. While when we looked back at the Veilguard official reveal trailer, people were mostly pissed about the tone and the art style and just the general vibe of the trailer itself. Now, after all of this, of course, we've received no less than 4 articles from Game Informer, where the author Wesley LeBlanc has gone into some more depth about the game itself because he has been playing it over at BioWare's headquarters. And there's a bunch of things here we've learned. Maybe not major things. We've gotten some extra screenshots of the ability wheels, how the leveling system works, things such as that. And now recently we got a look, or well, we got a description of the character creator. We still haven't seen anything of the character creator, but that's one of my most, I guess, favorite parts of RPGs. One of, not my specifically favorite part, but character creation is super important, at least to me, and I am super happy to hear that it's supposedly very advanced, and it very much sounds like something you would find in Dragon's Dogma 2, for example. I loved the character creator in Dragon's Dogma 2, and so I'm just really hoping that this has the same depth to it, and it very much sounds like that is the case. Now, it's hard to say because we haven't seen it yet, and BioWare has said that they're gonna show it off at a later point, or the closer we get to release. We still don't know when it's gonna release exactly. We do know that it's gonna release this fall. What month that's gonna be, I don't know. What date, we have no idea. So personally, at the end of the day, I would say that I've kind of warmed up to the Veilguard, actually. I'm starting to get excited for the game because I wasn't sure if I was excited when we first got the reveal trailers, but after all this time of thinking and rewatching the gameplay trailer and reading the various articles from people who have actually played the game, it does seem like we're in for something pretty good. Now, whether that's going to be something like Baldur's Gate 3 levels of hype, not sure. A lot of people are going to compare it to Baldur's Gate 3, unfortunately, because, I mean, it's a fantasy game with magic. It's connected to BioWare because BioWare made Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. It's an RPG. It has cinematic dialogue. It's a narrative-driven game. Again, I'm still kind of on the fence personally. I am excited though. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't, but I still understand a lot of the complaints. Like, it's still the question of how is the tone of the game gonna be? How is the combat gonna work? Is it actually gonna be that impactful? Is it going to be that fun? The one thing that I am a little worried about, and I've seen a lot of you guys be as well, is the fact that you only have 3 ability slots that you can use for Rook, your character. Then you, of course, have your companions that also have 3 skills they can use on each side. So technically you have 9 skills you can use at any one time, but for your Rook, you can only use 3. And from reading these Game Informer articles, it would seem that, according to at least the game director, Corinne Bush, that there are going to be attacks and combos and things that you can add to your gameplay when you're playing. So it's not just 3 abilities you can use. There are other things that you can use except the 3 main ones. But I do wonder how repetitive that's going to become. We also know that Veilguard is going to be a very narratively focused game, so it's not going to be open world. There are going to be open world sections. Think Mass Effect 2, for example, that also had a very tight-knit story with open areas on various maps, but a lot of biomes, a lot of maps that you can explore, but it's not this big open world where you have to grind to find things. So I guess that also makes me pretty excited at the end of the day. Now, just to test the waters for a bit, I actually asked my community here on YouTube what you guys think of the game right now, and the comments here seem to suggest that more and more people are more worried about the story and the characters, and I think that's definitely one of the more important parts to this game, is that if they can just nail that part, I think we're going to be pretty much golden, even if the combat would turn out to be repetitive, or who knows, maybe even boring. I don't think it's going to be personally. It sounds like it's pretty fun. But we do have 2 top commenters here. We have Timir, who says, I really hope the story will be great. And then we have Riente. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong there. I'm very worried about the storytelling of the game, with 35 upvotes right now. We'll see what you guys have to say later on, because I'm going to keep this poll up. Varin here brings up a good point. I was worried about the art style when I first saw the trailers, but I got used to them actually. Now, the only concern I have is about the story and companions. Will it be just as good and memorable as previous games? And if I will have as strong as emotions while playing the game as before? That is, an excellent question. I think it's the most important one at the end of the day. Is the story going to be good? Is the script going to be great? Is the main story, like the main plot elements, are the characters as deep as we want them to be? Are they going to be like at least the level in terms of character writing as something like, previous Dragon Age companions, or Baldur's Gate 3 level of companion writing, so to speak? And yeah, after looking at most of the comments here, it seems like most people agree that they're more worried about that than the combat anymore. Now, some of you may be asking, hey, why are we even talking about being worried about a video game? Well, the thing is, this game has 10 years of expectations riding on it, and I just think that a lot of people are worried that they might be setting themselves up for disappointment if they get hyped, as is always the case with things that you really care about. So I completely understand that one would be hesitant to say that, oh yes, I'm now hyped, or would even dare approaching the level of actually getting excited for a game. And it is really hard nowadays, especially when you do have heavy hitters such as Baldur's Gate 3 that came out last year and blew everybody's mind. It sold record numbers. It's one of the highest rated video games of all time. I understand completely why people would be worried about a franchise that they've cared so much for in the past, and now they're just not sure if it's gonna live up to those monstrous expectations that they now have. I've seen people say, hey, you can have 2 cakes and eat them, and I agree, you absolutely can, but the comparisons are still gonna be there, unfortunately, because we're just human. That's just what everybody does, and I do myself as well. I do think that I will find enjoyment from it though. I'm just really hoping that this game will be a massive success, because I think a part of me knows that the future of my favorite franchise of all time, Mass Effect, is on the chopping block here. And I just need this to be good. I just need this to be so good. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I'll see you in the next video. Mr. Alton, signing out.